Live here, and
I'm
we
ready.
are live. Okay, we have to wait a bit and see if people trickle in or how many people come in. There we go. Do you see a little counter in your top left? If you look on
Top
the
left.
screen, or is that just for me? Oh, what'd you click? Did I lose you? Uh-oh, we lost Al. What'd you click? Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
What?
there's something like a duck head with
Oh, yours is a duck head. Okay. I was
yeah,
just wondering because I have like a little eyeball looking thing. It looks almost like the CBS logo. Hey, we got somebody in here. Good.
right.
All right, so this is going to be different. No geopolitics talking here for me, because I believe that you can fight the globalists and still enjoy the bread and circuses. So, so I was talking with my man Al Levine, the talking machine over here, and I said, you know what? We should. We literally talked about this about I don't know 45 minutes ago. I said we should do a little show. It'll be Penguins talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna cover what's going on with the Penguins in the playoff run. And it'll be like we'll do it the day after every Penguins game, and just shoot the breeze, So here's my man Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm going to let him take over for a bit.
Hello, Attila. What a great idea you came up with and presented to me 46 and a half minutes ago.
That's
So
right.
I'm good to go. I got home, charging my phone, and you told me let's get on the laptop and we'll talk.
Yes,
So
we'll talk a little Penguins hockey, right?
all right.
We're
I love
we're
sports.
both
I'll give
fans of Pittsburgh sports. So now it's hockey season.
Well, exactly. And with my TV show that I just celebrated my 10th anniversary, 700 plus shows, Pittsburgh
Whew,
Sports Line. I'm
that's
trying to
right.
get to 7,000 likes. I'm at 6,943.
Oh,
So
you're
if
right
you are
there.
new and you just heard about the talking machine, go to Pittsburgh, just like it sounds, Sports Line. You
They
can
can find
find
you
it.
on YouTube.
Attila's been a guest about a half dozen times, a very superstar guest for many reasons and many things. And I've been doing this show live every Tuesday night and was on locations from Atria's PNC Park to Olive Oil's
That was the first place I
Pizzeria.
was a guest. That was the
Yes,
first place. That was gosh, man, that was like what 5 years ago now or something
I
like
think
that.
five, maybe,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's been
maybe
a while.
six. Yeah, we'll have to check the archives.
You're right.
And then
The only
we're
person we're missing here is your sidekick,
well, he's a man of mystery. So we'll leave
Jim
him that
Frazier, for those
way.
who don't know.
Yes, we'll leave him that way tonight because he doesn't answer a phone and he's a text guy only. So to try to connect with him, whoa, I don't even want to think about it. But
We got Jared commenting in there about
yeah, well,
Louis Domingue. That's
Louis
it. That's the
Domingue,
post.
look at
Boy,
look
did
at
he
how
step
he
up,
had
huh?
look at how he had spicy pork and broccoli warm
Right.
warm in the dressing room, and he ate that before he came on. So
Apparently, that's the secret to staying cool under pressure. Because boy, I'll tell you what, you get thrown in and what the second overtime, about halfway into the second overtime, you're
right,
thrown into the fire right there. And man, did he immediately had to make two saves immediately.
right, and I
He
think
didn't even
he
get to
ended up
warm
with
up. No
six.
stretching.
I think he ended up with 16 saves.
Something like that.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah,
crazy.
no,
Uh,
it was just phenomenal. Hey, enough about me. I can fill in later about I do a cooking show, the
yes,
Speedy
you do.
Gourmet, and I do an interview show for anybody, not just sports people, called the Talking Machine Show. I've been doing both of them for a year. Check it out. I cook like I'm called the Speedy Gourmet. So you can imagine what I
What?
cook, mostly fish meals and a lot of Mediterranean type vegetables and virgin olive oil and stuff like that.
Where
So
can they
it'll be
find the
better
shows,
than
Al?
that. That'll be better than that spicy Chinese
Well,
meal that Domingue had. So we'll go there. All right.
oh yeah.
You ready to kick it off with how negative people were about Penguins, whether they could even win a game, let alone a series with the Stanley Cup?
You know
I
what?
mean,
I'll tell you what. I um I had two views of them. And you saw my post in that last game against Boston when I
yes,
broke
I
it down.
did.
And I said if they play like that, they got a shot. I don't know if they got a shot to win the cup because there's some really, I mean, boy, Colorado is looking frightening right out of the gate. I don't know if
Right.
you saw last night, they just hammered Calgary
Yeah,
7-2.
I saw a little
So,
bit. Yes.
and then you got Florida, who ended up losing to the Capitals. But boy, that's a stacked team.
Look at the offense that Florida has. What are
Yeah,
they, number one in goals? So I mean, they can score.
they can. And I know they lost to Washington last night, but that's still a frightening team. That's still, to me, they were a team who was. It's amazing how many games they won when they had the lead after 2 periods.
Right.
And that, to me, tells me that you know how to shut a team down. So,
Yes.
so
And you have to play defense,
yes,
Attila, and
yes,
that's one of the key things. People miss that fact. They like the scorers, like they like Ovechkin. He's the greatest goal scorer of our era, but
yeah,
he's a one-trick pony. He
he
doesn't
is.
lift up any players. He doesn't help others, and he's not about a team. He's about a guy going to the right side of the goaltender and shooting that dynamite slap shot. But how's that help the other players get better?
Right.
So
But
I
I'll tell you
mean,
what, they got the guy that I like the most out of that team, and I kind of hate him at the same time, is Tom Wilson.
yeah. Well,
I
how can
love
you
to hate
not,
that guy.
as a Penguin fan, how can you not hate him?
Yeah,
If
he's
he
the
were
guy
on
you
our
hate the
team,
most. But boy, if he was on your team, you'd be like, I love that guy. I mean, he's a combination of Kevin Stevens and some serious hitters out there, because this
good
guy brings it. He's
good
like
good
Ty Domi and
analysis.
Kevin Stevens.
There was a Battleship Kelly a little bit before you, who was like an enforcer type guy.
Oh, I know
And
Battleship Kelly. I
yeah,
didn't
then
see him
that
play,
that
but
would be the combo.
I know the legend.
Yes, yeah, then I'm glad you're aware of it. You're a
Yeah.
transplanted Pittsburgher. Welcome aboard. We'll
Yes.
carry on.
Yes. Yes. But no,
But
Tom Wilson plays old school hockey,
yeah,
is what it does. So, and it pisses me off that he kind of gets special lenience. He gets to play old school hockey, but if somebody else does the same thing, they seem to get flagged,
they throw
using a
that.
hockey term. You know?
No, and I don't like it. My dad was a referee in basketball,
Yeah.
and he would always be asked to call games as a homer. And he'd tell, you'd love my dad. He'd go, I'm not a homer for anybody. And they go, you're only going to work one game. He goes, I'll be all right. There's plenty other teams playing high school and college ball. And he never was out of work. He helped provide stuff for me and my three sisters because he wasn't a homer. And
I
then
love it.
and I'll share this as a referee, growing up in a referee family, there's so much disrespect in general with people in authority. My dad said this back in the 70s. He goes, Alan, if you notice me in a game, I'm not doing my job. So for all these referees to make mistakes and be so obvious, to make calls that are terrible, my dad would be outraged. He
Yeah.
goes, call the game as you see it and not for any favorites. And we used to watch the NBA because he loved basketball.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes, he go, Al, did you see that run? Did you see that charge? And he goes, what's going on? They're not calling anything. Then the end of the game, he goes, what are they calling? Walking, charging, all these
Yeah.
fouls at the end. Who do they want to win?
Right.
And
Right.
that's what I grew up with. So I'm jaded.
That's when
And
Vegas makes the phone call, right?
oh, exactly. Or they're flashing the green
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they see
Well,
some green.
I tell you what, that's actually a good segue, because I thought that last night's game was really well officiated. I
Here's
really
why
do.
I know it was. When you watch a game and you're in the third period and a team scores on a controversial play
Yeah.
where the Smith is hit and knocked down, and what
He was knocked
Dumoulin,
like 6 feet out of the net.
right, and he was the primary contact, and Dumoulin hit the guy, forget the guy's name,
Yeah,
he
but he
hit
didn't
him.
hit him. He more like touched him. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he wasn't cross-checked. He wasn't hit hard or anything. He just made some contact, but the guy made no effort at all. He made no effort to stop. He made no effort to go around this Smith.
Well, here's what I wonder. When you stop with skates, don't you turn them a little bit sideways to
Right.
create snow?
Yeah.
So why didn't that happen? And Dumoulin, who was behind, seemed to be like going with the momentum to stop him. It
Right.
wasn't a push per se. So when they called that with 3:10 to go and it went to the replay, I was like, wow, what's going to happen here?
You
And
know what? I felt confident for some reason. I actually felt confident that that was a no goal. And I know Bob Airey, I think, called it, oh, this is going to stand. And I disagreed with him on that.
right.
And luckily, so did the refs, because I really think that was the right call. And I'm not saying this as a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I can be as objective as anyone else, you know.
Right.
So I would have, if they would have done the same thing down the other end, and it was the Penguins who lost the goal, I still would have said that's a good non-call, or that's a good call.
Well, I'm with you. I wasn't really sure about it because I've seen calls go the other way. But what gave me confidence, Attila, like you, is because we've had 8 in a row challenges that we've won.
Oh, have we?
So
I didn't even notice.
yeah, I go for some minutia here,
Yeah,
but we
yeah, that's
had
good.
8 in a row, and guess what? We got 9. So lucky number 9.
That's good. I'll take it. Here,
Right.
let's jump in here. We're going to show some of the highlights from
Yeah.
from last night's
But
game. Uh,
don't show those first 2 goals by the Rangers. Come on.
ah, well, you know what? If you watch, especially the second goal, and we're going to get to it in a second.
Go ahead.
Um,
Hey, and thanks
so-
for doing this. I appreciate this technology, brother.
yeah, you know what? I love StreamYard. I really do. They make it very simple. Even an idiot like me can use it.
Thank
So
you,
that was a
idiot.
redirected goal. That's a tough goal for anyone to give up, you know. And it was almost, watch right here. It gets, I think this is the one redirected right there. Bow. It was
Yeah,
almost like Malkin's goal at the end. Very
right.
similar, you know.
And
Now
have
this goal
have
bothered
yeah,
me because take a look at how many Penguins are just standing around, not taking anybody.
right,
They're just sort of skating. One, two, three, four of them. 3 of them are not even near anyone.
right.
So look how wide open that guy was. Unbelievable.
Well,
Just
here's what I have to ask from playing sports, baseball, football, even street hockey. Why aren't you covering a man?
yeah. I mean, look. They're all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 of them. Nobody. I mean, you can't leave a guy that wide open.
No.
You know,
And Attila, why isn't somebody in front of him?
right? There's just no one anywhere near him. You know, I mean, Mario Lemieux didn't score open goals like this. He had to work
Oh,
harder.
yeah, and he had the reach
Yeah, exactly.
and the super skills.
So,
No,
I'll be honest with you. At that point, I thought to myself, here we go. The route's on. The Rangers are going to run away with this. But what I was really most impressed by is the fact that the Penguins, from this point on, managed to just handle the speed of the Rangers.
yeah, I want to make a point for our fans and you. If you notice the games, like I watched most of the games this year, and within the first 5 minutes, I'm no expert, but I would know whether the Penguins could win or lose by the first 5 minutes.
This one didn't
Because
look
if
good.
yeah, if they weren't looking good, uh, going buzzing around fast, scoring a goal early, first goal or whatever, because their record's great doing that, then you knew they'd have trouble. So watching last night's game, seeing them not come out as fired up as I've seen them, and they get 2 goals, I was on the edge of my seat going like, this could be terrible, right?
Well, so here's what I thought. So the first period, I thought, okay, they were only down 1-0. And we know that the Penguins have been questionable this year in the first period.
Oh, yeah.
And the second period has been probably their strongest period. And so I figured, okay, they're only down 1-0, not bad, not a bad place to be. But when they gave up the second goal and the way they gave it up, so sloppy on defense, I thought, boy, they're finished. Yeah, the Rangers are just going to have their way. And then this pass by Crosby, look at that, right there, right there.
A dirty goal. That's
I
a
could have
dirty
scored that goal.
goal.
I mean, that was like that reminds me of the old Lemieux and Robbie Brown goals. Just keep that
Oh,
stick on the
yeah.
ice.
Yeah. Lemieux
Look at
made him
that.
a
Boom.
50-goal scorer by slapping him off of him.
Yeah. Gensel, by the way, is just unreal, this kid. Absolutely unreal. And then this goal right here,
Yeah.
the Penguins tying goal, this play by Sidney Crosby was one of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. Tremendous.
Unbelievable pass. So effortless, just made it look like completely routine. The Rangers had no idea. Right there, boom, boom. And at that point, I said the Penguins need to start shooting for the goalie's stick side high. Shoot
Right.
for that. That's the weakness I see. I'm getting into this. My buddy
No,
Dave's
good
loving it.
observation. It's holding up on that. Move that forward.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, man, they need to start shooting for that. Aim for the stick side high. Seemed to be the best spot. Now the Penguins' power play is killing me this year,
Yeah,
and giving up that
they've had
shorthanded goal. And you
yeah,
see Gensel, he's hauling ass, but he just couldn't get back there. And of course, Letang is in on the play.
right. Well, I got to give kudos to Letang for the last 2 years. I think he's played some of his best hockey because he's playing a better game offensively like he always does. But on defense, he tightened up most of the mistakes he was making, and you could see a difference. There are some letdowns like you saw here, but they're a minimum now, not like they were before, where it was like 50-50 on whether he'd defend or not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Letang. Great skills, great talent, and I don't want to say this like derogatorily, but I feel like his hockey IQ isn't where it should be. Sometimes he
Well,
makes the dumbest mistakes out there, and that ends up costing us a goal.
Attila, I have an answer for you on that.
What's that?
His hockey skills are great. His
Yeah.
talent is great,
Yes.
but he overestimates his talent at all times. So when that happens, he thinks he can make a play down the ice. And even though we give up the puck, he knows he could catch the guy.
Yeah.
Guess what? He doesn't always catch him.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
like I said
where
though,
you question his IQ.
he
But
does
I'm
some dumb
taking the
things too. He'll do dumb things like pass the puck out across the net in front of our goal. Things like that. Like if you remember in that game, I believe it was against the Islanders. I don't know,
yeah,
like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, when Fleury was trying to catch a puck that was hit high. It was high up in the air. He puts his glove up, and for whatever reason, Letang puts his stick up and knocks away. He goes to swipe at the puck at the same time he hits Fleury's glove hand, and the puck falls down, and the Islanders get a cheap, easy goal.
yeah, but
It's
here's my point.
it's things like that that drive me
No,
nuts.
it's actually not a bad IQ. It's overconfidence in the skill set he has.
You
And
may be
guess
right.
what? And guess what? As you get older, like I've never been this old before, and I know I'm diminished from when I was 20 years old.
Sure.
And and that happens in life. For us, it's natural. In sports, it's unnatural because of the skill set, the eating, the workouts they do. And that's what keeps them so confident. You want them confident, but it cost us on those plays, Attila,
Well,
many
yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So this one, and another thing I do want to say about this goal as well is, this Smith just he could have poke stick there. He could have
Yeah,
poke checked, used, he didn't. And that's why he ended up giving up the goal. And again, I don't want to hark on him, but right there, like I know for a fact that Jari would have poke checked. Jari uses that poke check pretty damn well, just like Flower used to. Flower,
right.
say what you will about Flower and the dumb goals he gives up. His poke check was really, really good, and he could react to any shot. I mean, he was like a cat, you
Well,
know?
I call it he was so acrobatic
Yes,
in
yes,
there, and he knew exactly what he had to do to stop a puck, whether it's slide all the way over with a toenail or
yeah.
get the stick out there or use his head, to block something or a shoulder or
Yeah, but
glove.
the thing with Flower, when he gave up a goal, it was going to be something stupid. It
Oh,
would bounce off
normally.
his head, back of his head or his butt, or, like the one time he went out to play the puck, like near the boards, near the far side boards, and he whiffed, fell on his ass, and I forget who we were playing. They literally just carried the puck right into an empty net. So, I
I
mean,
remember that like it was
you know
yesterday.
what I'm talking about?
I remember it. I get chills on that. Come on.
Yeah. I can't remember who we were playing, but I just remember laughing my ass off because I was like, that is literally the epitome of a Flower goal given
Oh
up.
yeah.
Like he will give up the dumbest goals. He'll make you like 30 fantastic acrobatic saves and then give up
Right.
like two dumb goals.
No, hey, we lived with it. Look at the Stanley Cups we got with him and because
Oh,
of him. So
look, there's no way we win those final back-to-back cups without Flower. That's fact. We know that Matt Murray played great. He
right.
was fantastic. But I don't know if Matt was necessarily a full-time guy. And I don't think necessarily Flower is a full-time guy either when it comes to playing the entire, 4 series in a playoff game. But you match the two of them up, and they were like the Wonder Twin. They had those Wonder Twin powers. Remember the Wonder Twins?
Yeah, I do. I do remember that. Yeah, great
Yeah, they
analogy,
activate the
buddy.
rings and they become super goalie. They become Patrick Waugh or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And that's the great thing about it when you have a good coach that has the feel and the knowledge of his players. And Sullivan's very good, with that. And
Absolutely.
and he has the offensive defenseman, which really helps. And you have to do the checking and the forechecks and stuff. So when you do that, like they did the other day when you said they were perfect, that they have a chance. With
Oh yeah,
Jari
against
getting
Boston. Yeah.
right, with them losing the last 3 or 4 years in the first round, that's terrible. And I'm hopeful. I was with Jari there. I thought with the new goalie coach, he upped his game tremendously this whole year. And he did fade towards the end of the game because guess what? He never played so much. So I say fatigue sets in. Then he got hit. Look at the hit on him that knocked his legs out from under him. And we still
Yeah.
got the lower body injury like they always lie in hockey, upper body, lower body.
Right. That's
He
all you
broke
get.
his leg or foot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Yeah, I think he
Got
had
a
a broken foot,
leg.
I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing on Jari. I love the kid, but the way the Penguins played for much of the season, they offered no help to any of their goalies.
Well,
They played this willy-nilly, up and down hockey. I mean, I've never seen a team give up this many odd man rushes as the Penguins have this season. And that was my concern with them. And if you remember, I said that if they play like they played that last game against Boston, where they played defense first, they still give up like 57 shots or whatever it was,
right.
but they weren't high-quality shots.
Yeah.
And
I
Jari,
think
was
it
it
was
Jari or
only
DeSmith?
52. It was 52.
52? Was
Yeah,
that Jari
and
or DeSmith? I don't remember now.
that was the Smith with a new record for a
Yeah.
shutout.
Right. And that was, I
So,
mean, but he didn't have to face any really hard shots in that game. And the
great
Penguins were
point.
blocking. And even last night, they played that same style. Thank God they woke up, somewhere in the second period, and they held their goalies. And I think what was the final shots? Because I can't find stats anywhere on this game.
Here, I remember watching the game, so I know some stats.
Well, the Pens had like 87 shots, right?
Right. And the Penguins had 25 shots in the second period. That's a
Alone,
record.
yes.
That's a record for the Penguins in the playoffs.
Yes.
25 shots. So their alarm clock went off, Attila. You were right. After the second goal, their alarm clock was off.
Yeah, they woke up.
They were shooting that puck so much and they were getting through to the goaltender. I was like, where's the goals at?
Yeah.
He was standing on his head, literally.
That Rangers goalie played outstanding. There's no. I thought both goalies did an excellent job.
No, he did.
Like I said, DeSmith honestly could have stopped that breakaway if he would have just poke checked. That's all he needed there.
Let me explain something. That's why he's the backup goaltender.
Right.
And that's how simple it is.
He's a pretty damn good backup goalie. As far as backups go, he's a good backup.
And he did play the last 10, 12 games very well. And, we couldn't help it losing in some shootouts and getting beat like we did with lack of defense. When you let those guys go in 2-on-none, 3-on-none.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard is it? Very hard to stop them, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's what we live with the Penguins. And we're so spoiled like we are with Steeler fans that we expect a championship every year. But Attila, how many cities would like our records 16 years in a row for the Stanley Cup?
Well, and that reminds me of Detroit, because that's what Detroit had going. And then, Yzerman and the gang got too old, and now they can't buy a win, So I think the Penguins are very, very close to that.
Well, no, we're in it. We're in it right now from 16 and 17. There were rumors that with Malkin, the way he's good and bad, that maybe they should have traded him in 2018 for the value. And I love Malkin. I love Letang. I love Crosby. I want to emphasize keeping the core three is phenomenal in this day and age.
Yeah.
Look what the Penguins have done, been at the salary cap and plus every year and providing all these players that step up. Because look at Sid. He's a 200-foot player.
Yeah.
He plays great defense. He can score
He
goals.
does everything.
Yeah, and when he got his 1400th goal, I was thinking everybody talks Ovechkin how great he is. Ovechkin only had 1403 points. So
Yeah.
was Sid not scoring all the goals, but he's an assist maniac. Look at
Well,
how he makes
so
players better.
I compare Sid very much to Wayne Gretzky, where
Yeah.
he's a playmaker. He sets people up. He doesn't just score, like Ovechkin is a scoring
Well,
machine.
like
We
I
know
said
that.
a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
Ovechkin doesn't lift players up.
Right.
Sid and the great players lift others up. Look at when people are on Sid's line. Look at Gensel. He got a
Yeah.
nose for the goal, but who's getting him the puck?
Oh, and he's getting perfect passes, man. Oh my goodness. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
Aren't they the sweetest passes you've seen?
Yes. Yes.
They're just laying up there
They're
real
literally
easy.
alley oops, man. They are alley oops,
Oh,
tap ins.
yeah.
And I'm not knocking Gensel because let's face it, Gensel has made some prolific plays. That's unbelievable, this kid. And when I said, that they're like Lemieux and Robbie Brown,
Right.
Robbie Brown wasn't Gensel.
Here's the
Okay.
difference. Gensel's not a big guy, has great skills. Robbie Brown was just an energetic guy that would get in front of Mario's passes.
Yes.
I mean, he'd hit him off his body, his shin guards, his stick. If his stick was out there, he'd crack the stick and the goal would go in.
Yeah,
So
yeah. My favorite Robbie Brown moment was when he got chased by Ron Hextall, who's now our GM.
Yeah, that is a classic. You're right.
That was, I think, like what, game 5, I think, of the
I think it is
of the
was the
89
fifth
playoffs
game.
or 88
Yeah.
playoffs, whatever that was, against
That
the
sounds
Flyers.
like it.
Yeah.
No, I've enjoyed it. I've been a Penguin fan since they were founded in '67. I have fond memories in the '70s being at the Civic Arena and somebody go, "You got your stick?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Here's a ball. Let's play." And we'd be playing 3-on-3, 4-on-4 outside before the games. Then we'd go in for $3 or $5. We're in peanut heaven. And I'll never forget this, Attila. In the '70s, there's some guy named Ace, and he blows this horn all the time. And guess who was sitting next to him? Me and my 3 buddies. We're sitting next to Ace, high-fiving him. Nice guy. He's blowing his horn. Then I get a little rambunctious. I go, "There's hardly anybody here. Let's go down to the glass." And they go, "Al, what are you going to do?" I go, "I'm giving an usher $20 and we're going to be sitting there." And they go, "You can't do it." I go down. They don't come with me.
Uh-huh.
And the
You're
usher
down there by
goes,
yourself.
he goes, "Bring your buddies." And I give him the 20. I go, "Get down here." We were sitting by the glass.
Nice.
That was the first time, and we did it many times afterwards. Ace knew who we were because we go, "Ace, blow that horn." And he'd blow it and go through the whole arena from peanut heaven.
Yeah.
Great memories.
Well, I really became a Pens fan in that series against the Flyers in that 88-89.
Okay. When did you come to Pittsburgh?
1980. We came to Pittsburgh. We came to the US.
And how old were you? Tell me that again. I forgot.
I was 12. I was 12
right.
then. So we came here. Like, the only hockey I really got to watch back living in Romania was the Russian Red Army team.
Well, sure.
That's the team I rooted for because that was like the local team.
Well, yeah.
And they were tearing it up on the international everywhere.
Well, their little secret was being professional.
Yes.
So.
Oh, these guys actually, if you look at today's NHL, it's very influenced by the Red Army, by the Russians, with the cycling that came from the Russians.
Right.
Exercising, working out, staying in shape. I mean, these Canadians with
steroids and
right,
steroids and other things.
These Canadians would just smoke cigarettes, drink whiskey, and go play. That was their.
What do you think Mario Lemieux did?
Yeah,
he didn't.
Well, he never worked out.
He didn't start working out till his back was hurt.
Right. That's because he had 3 people on his back every game.
Right. And look at the skill sets he had.
Yeah.
He puffed that cigarette and scored 4 goals. So no problem.
Imagine if Mario played in today's game. I think he would be like, what's his name? Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid. I watch Connor McDavid and I'm like, wow, this would be Lemieux if he was playing today.
Well, look at in my eyes, the defenders aren't really that tough at times because they want to play like Letang. So what do you think Mario would do with defenders like that?
Right. Well,
Goodbye.
he would do what Connor McDavid's doing. It's just
Yeah,
skating circles
he'd be
around them.
down the ice ahead of him, and how are you going to stop him?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if or when the Penguins exit the playoffs,
Yes.
Edmonton is my team. I
Oh,
love
okay.
watching that team. And I tell you, if there's one town I feel bad for is Edmonton, because they had
Sure.
that team in the 80s and it fell apart because of the, no salary cap. And, they couldn't afford to keep Messier and all those
Right.
great players that they had. I mean, Gretzky, they had to trade Gretzky for crying out loud.
I
I mean,
know.
that's a crime against sports, you know?
Especially for Canadians,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I mean, they would trade their prime minister before they trade Gretzky.
Not only was it sacrilegious, but politically it was definitely out of the ballpark.
Yeah,
You can't
yeah,
get rid of a guy.
yeah.
That's like getting rid of your mayor. How are you
Right,
getting rid of your mayor of Edmonton? What?
right. Yeah,
Nobody would even think of that, right?
right.
He's the
So
mayor.
I mean, I felt bad for Edmonton ever since because they've sucked ever since.
Right.
And now they got these young kids coming in. They're putting talent around Connor McDavid and
Oh,
man,
yeah.
I was watching them just skate circles around the Penguins, and they're next to the last game. I mean, I'm not
Right.
going to put a lot of stock in that, but watch them on and off throughout the season.
Sure.
And man, are they fun to watch. Man, are
No,
they
and,
fun to
and
watch.
it's a nice brand of hockey because you're
Yeah,
seeing the skill sets out there too.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and
So
that helps. You appreciate the talent.
absolutely. And like I said, once the Pens fall out, that's my team, man.
Well, I'll just share this. They're going to fall out. We're not sure when.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The homer in me wants them to go all the way, but the realist in me is like, yeah, this team just I don't know. And especially with Raquel, man, taking that hit that he did. Um, what do you
And
think? Concussion?
yeah, at least maybe a broken collarbone.
I hope not. I
That's
hope
what I
not.
was thinking. It was a legal hit,
Yeah.
and he didn't try to hurt him. And
No, but that
you
was a
know,
good hit. You know what that kind of reminded me of? That reminded me of the hit that Lindros took from Kasperitis.
oh,
And it was almost in the same place on the ice, too.
you know what? That I didn't think about that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Oh, Kasperitis leveled him, and that's what you
He
get when you
laid
skate
him
with your head
out.
down, man. You're skating with your head
Yeah.
down. Look, puck watching. Oh boy. And
Oh,
that's exactly what happened to Raquel. He got caught puck watching.
and it happens even
Oh
to the
yeah.
best.
Well, it's a
And if
contact
you
sport.
right, and like I say, when people are traveling that fast, like in the NFL, I always said James Harrison is concussing other people,
Of
but
course.
he's also getting concussed
Yes.
because it's like being in a car accident. Well, if you've been in a car accident, you get something called whiplash,
Yes.
especially in those seat belts, to
Yeah.
restrain you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're hitting like that.
Yeah.
And Raquel, how he got hit, I was like, he's done.
Oh, well, I
You
mean,
know,
you got to
you,
figure he was probably skating a solid 20 to 25 miles an hour, give or take.
oh yeah,
And you got the other guy coming at him with probably about the same speed. So you're talking about at least a 50-mile-an-hour collision.
oh yeah. You're talking about 1,000 pounds or more of force and
Right.
fracturing.
Right.
So
So boy, he
you
took that
don't
hit and I
hold
was
up,
like,
and you can't
oh.
relax on that. So
Oh, and then he went to get up and he looked like he got suckered by Tyson. Like he just fell
right,
back to his knee and I was like, okay, he's done.
yeah, there was
And
no doubt, and he was missed because he's been an
oh yeah,
integral part. What a great trade that was, Attila.
that really was. And I hope that they can keep him for the long term because I really like what I see out of that kid.
I'm worried about money, because the
Well,
Penguins
I
are
mean,
they're so close to the cap all the time.
right,
I'm not sure, and we'll see who's replacing Morehouse, who was legendary.
right, right.
And how about the timing of him retiring? I still
Yeah,
question. We both believe in conspiracies. We'll just share that with people.
yeah.
I believe in some type of conspiracy when getting rid of a legendary GM or no, what president of Penguins
Hockey operations, whatever.
hockey operations. How can that happen before the playoffs start?
Well, did they get rid of him though, or did he step down? I'm not totally sure.
Well, I remember LeBeau stepped down. I remember Arians stepped down,
Yeah,
and they didn't retire. They were all saying the rumors were that they retired. Guess what? They were told to leave, and they didn't want to.
you're
So
right.
that's
Well,
what I
LeBeau, I
think.
think Dick LeBeau ended up in Carolina, right?
Well,
I think so.
Tennessee. He
Oh,
went to
was it Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And Arians, look what he did with his career,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, these
Well, he
things
got Tom
happen.
Brady. I mean, come on.
Well, you know what? If he's there, like we're all concentrated on a superstar, but these are team sports.
They are. But
I
Tom
emphasize,
goes a long way into telling a coach how to win a game.
well, he can do all that, but look at all the ducks he lined up in a row.
Right. Right.
And he proved it in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Look what he created there.
Yeah.
And then look at how he quit and now he's back. I mean,
Yeah.
how does that happen after a month? I mean,
Now he was home with the kids. That could
well,
happen.
that helps you.
All right, so let's get back to this game here. So,
All right.
whoops, there we go. This is what we want view wise. So this is okay. So this is the Penguins
Their
game
third
tying
goal.
goal here. The third goal.
Yeah.
I don't remember who scored this one. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Rust, right, from Malkin. Yeah,
You can't
which
go
was
wrong with Rusty. And look at
and
Malkin.
Malkin. This reminded
Malkin,
me of the first goal a lot. They
it
were a
looked
little closer
similar.
together, but it was very, very similar, you know. And again, where was it? It was on the stick side. So if you
And
notice, all three of the
look at how open Rusty was there.
yeah, but all three of the goals went in on the stick side, is what I'm saying. So if I'm the Penguins, I start aiming for that stick side, especially high. You know?
Right.
And in fact, the goalpost that Rusty hit in overtime, that's
Yeah.
exactly where he was shooting.
Guess what? They observe. They're
Yeah,
observing
it was
there,
funny
buddy.
because I was telling a friend of mine that that's, you know, after the second goal, I said, man, that's where I would be going. I would be aiming for that, you know, as many shots there as possible.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sure enough, that's exactly where Rusty went. You know,
Yes. Well, look at how they'd shoot at Murray's glove hand all the time.
boy, what a theft that was right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that Murray's weakness was that glove hand. There's no question about it.
Yeah. He
Yeah, look at
never
this. So
got
this
better with it. He didn't get
no,
better.
yeah, that's a shame too because I thought every other aspect of his game was very solid.
Oh, just his
Oh, here we go. Okay, here's the goal we were talking about. That's called off. Look, he made no effort at all to skate away from the Smith.
right. And here's why he's suspect. He turned towards the goalie.
Yeah.
Look where he turned. He's 3-4
Yeah.
feet away from the blue line.
Oh, he's all the way in the blue line now.
No, but I mean before
oh yeah.
he turned to get into it. Now, where is he? He's on the Smith.
Yeah, pushing him right out.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Why isn't he stopping? Right?
yeah. I know Rangers fans weren't happy about this, but like I said, even if this would have happened to the Penguins, I would have been screaming that it should not be a goal. And there's nothing Dumoulin really did there. If you look at it, he kind of leaned into him, but I mean,
He was trailing, like I said. I saw him trailing,
yeah,
and he may have been on him, but he didn't push him to go
right.
further.
Right. There was nothing obvious, and this is where it gets called off, and the crowd's booing, and you know, I did crack up. I did crack up how the Rangers fans booed the ref for calling off the icing. I think it was
Yeah.
like in the second period somewhere. And then they mocked cheered him every time they called icing from there on out for the
I
entire
know.
game.
I know.
So I got
Well,
a kick out of that. And let me tell you, I don't know why, but I really hate Rangers fans more than any other fans out there. I hate them more than
Whoa.
Flyers fans. I hate them
hold
more
it.
than
I got one group of fans that may rival that.
who's that?
Philly fans.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just saying. I hate them even more than Flyers fans, and Flyers fans I hate.
Well, I put the
You-
Flyer fans up at number one.
You know what? My roommate in college was from Philly.
Whoa.
Obviously a Flyers fan. So that was my biggest introduction to the NHL game was you know, rooming with him.
Right.
And you know, he's a great guy. I love George, man. He's like the perfect brother, you know, from another mother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We met. The craziest thing is that we both ended up in this thing called Act 101 program
Yeah.
going into college, which was basically for idiots who scored low on their SAT scores, who got in.
Whoa.
Well, when I took my SAT, I took it a year after high school, right? And I
Right.
went and I auditioned because I went to Duquesne University on a classical piano scholarship,
Oh,
performance
did
scholarship.
you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I got in. Hey, what's up, Joe? If the Smith is at the top of his crease, that's a good goal. However, this Smith was deep in the crease, and you can see Rangers players pretty much skate through the blue paint. Yeah, I totally agree. But so anyway, so I
No
went and
argument
auditioned,
from us.
and none whatsoever. Um, so I went and auditioned for for the School of Music at Duquesne University, and
Yeah,
I ended up with a School of Music scholarship. So I
that's
was
so
in, like,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew, a classical piano performance major is a lot of pressure. It's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
pressure, let me tell you, because you're always compared to Horowitz and Glenn Gould and Lily
Stop
Krause
right
and all the
there.
greats.
Yeah,
Yeah, all the
stop right
greats.
there.
Right, right. So that's why I went into rock, man. Rock was so much more fun. There was no pressure, unlike
Oh,
with classical
sure.
music. So at any rate, so I get in there. So to me, like, all I needed to do was just take an SAT. I didn't give a shit. The score didn't matter. I was in, right?
Right.
So I literally took my SAT score drunk legally. I was
Wow.
I was out partying the night before, and
Unbelievable.
my buddy Gary and I, we didn't leave the party till like 5 in the morning. So
And
we
then you
stopped
went
off
and
at my
took your
house.
test.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, we stopped off at my house. I took a quick shower. He went home, showered, came back, picked me up, and we took the test. And I was legally drunk still. So I ended up scoring like a 700 or something. I mean, it was like a ridiculous number. You
Yeah.
get like what, 500 for signing your name. So
Just about.
yeah,
Yes. Maybe
so,
501.
right. So I
If
was
you
literally
sign it
doing
correctly. If you
right,
sign
right,
it correctly with the
right.
middle initial there. So
So I was literally like just playing fill in the dots. Like I got done with my SAT in like 25 minutes. Like I just
that's
So
a
I
new
didn't care.
record.
Right, right. So they're like, well, you're borderline retarded here, buddy. So you're gonna have to end up in this Act 101 program.
Wow.
So I ended up. It was a summer program that was before Duquesne University, and somehow George and I got roomed together. But out of all the kids there, we were the only two musicians. He was a bass player,
Yeah.
and I was a piano player. So I don't know if they did that on purpose. To this day, I have no idea. But they just roomed us together. But then for the regular school year, we were on different floors and had different
Right.
roommates. So we were both like, you know what? I love rooming with you, man. Let's just stay together. So that's
Sure.
what we did. We changed and we stuck together, and we've been tight ever since. And I don't hold the fact that he's from Philly against him,
Right.
because you would never guess he's from Philly. He's the most mellow, cool, chilled out person you'll ever meet in your life.
Well, until you take them to their sports,
Yeah.
then it's a whole different thing.
Well,
My sister lives in North Wildwood, and I helped her move
that's
there.
New
And my
Jersey,
son
right?
was
Wildwood, New Jersey.
North
Yeah,
Wildwood, New Jersey. So
yeah.
they're
We had a couple
all
guys on the floor from Wildwood. It's a nice
right.
area.
Yeah, it's a great area.
Yeah.
They bought a condo down there for years ago, and he was doing fracking and stuff. So I figured they'll move there. We move him down there, and my sister goes, "Hey, Al, we got a lot of Eagle fans and Flyer fans, so please behave yourself." And I go, "Okay." So we're moving furniture in the house, and some guys come in bringing some other furniture that they bought, and she goes, "Al, these guys, just leave them alone. Just introduce yourself or whatever, and that's it." And I go, "Hey, I'm Hope's brother. I'm Al Levine from Pittsburgh."
The talking
They
machine.
go, "You're from effing Pittsburgh?" And she looked, my sister Hope's 5 foot tall. She goes like this, "Al." And I go, "Yeah." I go, "I respect you guys. You're probably Eagle fans, or you might be a Flyer fan."
Right.
And I go, "What about those Phillies?" And, they start going off, and we've got away all right. So now we're there, and my brother-in-law, Gary, and Hope, they go, "Hey, let's take a walk down to the beach. It's only like 5 minutes away. The ocean's 2 minutes away." I took them between some condos that
Yeah.
my sister didn't even know it. I go, "Here's the beach right here. Here's the, outcropping of rocks." She goes, "Al, you got to come down here more often." So we're going down to the beach in the town. It's a nice little quaint town with a few
Hmm.
different businesses. And we're walking along the beach, and I see a lady with a fishing pole in the sand, and the line is out in the sea, in the
Hmm.
ocean. And she has an Eagles jersey. So the
Uh,
light bulb lit up in me. My sister goes, "Al, please don't bother her." I go, "I'm just going to ask her one question." So I go, "Hey, have you caught any fish listen what happened next. This is classic Philly. I hate you. You're from Pittsburgh. I go,
How'd she
ma'am,
know?
I'm just asking you, did you catch any fish? She goes, I hate all you Steeler fans. Just get away from me. I go, ma'am, I have another question for you. Do you know your second string quarterback? She goes, no. I go, I don't like you because you have Con Vic as the second quarterback on your team. My sister and brother-in-law walk me away. And she tells the story to this day.
Convict, I love it.
Definitely. You know, there's no holding me back and how quick I am. There
Right,
was no
right.
pause between it. And then you'll like this, when we walked back, she was still there. I waved at her. She's yelling at me. We're too far away to hear. That was
Yeah,
my experience with some Eagle fan.
yeah, yeah. Now I tell you what, you would love my roommate, man, because he's so cool. He's just one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet.
No, he
Um,
sounds like a great guy.
he really is. He and I hit it off so well, like, so I miss those days. It was fun. I was only in college for 1 year because then I was like, I see the scam. I see the scam. I'm out of here. Exactly.
Mo money.
As
And
long
then
as you pay, anybody can get a degree.
you said he played the bass.
Yeah.
So
He's good. He was a very
everybody
good bass
loves the
player.
bass.
Huh?
Everybody loves the bass,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. He was
I know
well, he
that
was
from being around,
like a bass player.
yeah,
Yeah.
from being around Jessica Lee and her jazz and things like
Yeah.
that. I've met plenty of great bass players in Pittsburgh and other musicians with jazz.
Yeah,
So,
he actually I had my piano teacher was Gladys Stein. She was a little
okay.
old Jewish lady, long gray hair. She kind
Yeah.
of spoke like this. She was like, "Oh, Attila, you got your red shoes on today." I used to have these red
I know
Reeboks
that
I wore all
lady.
the time. Yeah, yeah. She lives up here in Squirrel Hill, actually. Now I'm sure she's passed away. She was already like 70 back then, you know. Uh, but uh, but George actually, for his piano teacher, because he took some piano lessons, for his piano teacher, he had David Budway. And I don't know if you know
Okay.
Dave. Dave and Maureen Budway were brother and sister. Dave was piano player. He won. Actually, he was always like a runner-up in the Van Cliburn competitions down in Texas.
I've heard of the name. I've heard of the
Oh,
name.
he's
Just
big time. The guy, he did a great like Popeye impersonation and stuff. And
wow.
his sister Maureen was a fantastic jazz singer. She taught jazz at Duquesne, and sadly she passed away. Now, gosh, probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe more. I
Wow.
don't know exactly when. I think it was cancer that got her, but
Uh,
but
yeah,
yeah,
I understand. I lost my girlfriend to cancer 8 years ago. It was in
yeah, I lost my
every
mom
lymph.
to it back in '86. So
Yeah, eight
you know
years ago, it was in every cell in her body, every lymph node. Just a crazy. She was never sick a day in her life till she got cancer.
that's
So
crazy. That is
yeah, it
crazy.
is. Hey, we better get to some hockey
Yes.
here, buddy.
So where are we here? So this is
Did
a
we
three
tie it
for
up? We tied it up.
right. Yeah, I just the thing I wish they would have done in this highlight reel here is talked about Domingue coming in because there was really no mention about it. In here they just went right into the overtime. What
Right.
happened with the OT goal? Hence it's the third overtime. But I
Well, they.
still want to know what happened to DeSmith.
I heard he was dehydrated.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I heard he was so dehydrated he couldn't play anymore.
So it was just basically like cramps and stuff. And there's
Yeah.
your winner by Malkin.
Whoa, show
Boy,
that
what a nice
again.
play that was, man. I tell you what, I really admire the hand-eye on these guys, these hockey players, because people talk about how great hand-eye coordination of baseball players are, right, swinging at bat and
Right.
everything. But you're stationary. You got the guy who's throwing to you who's stationary. In hockey, man, they're all over the place. These are all moving parts, and to be able to just redirect the way these guys do with like 70-mile-an-hour pucks.
Oh yeah.
They make it look so effortless. Sid, the same way. Malkin, all these guys, just unbelievable how effortless it is.
No,
What a
look at
pretty play
that.
this was, too. And look at Malkin is camped out exactly where he needs to be.
He's
Right in
down
front
and
of the net.
dirty.
Yeah.
Another dirty goal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what we need. I think the Penguins have been missing a lot of that during the season.
Yeah. Well, the
Just
one thing
people.
I just want to give a little thing on my insights for the season. And all the years, like I've been watching hockey since 1967, this is one of the best and grittiest teams that I've seen, Attila, in my life. And they've just proved it day in and day out that they don't quit. Now they get
Well,
blown out sometimes
yeah,
and get outplayed. Guess what? That happens to all of us. We played
of course,
sports.
of course.
Sometimes you just get beat.
Look, the difference between the best and the worst players in the NHL or any pro league is not that much.
It's right
Okay.
here a lot of
Oh, a
times.
lot of it is absolutely. And I can tell you just from myself, from my personal experience in racing hand cycles,
Yeah.
I was just telling this somebody the other day. I said, I've never won back to back. It's very difficult to win back to back. It's almost impossible because
Yeah.
you just can't get up for it the second time the way you get up for it the first time. You
Well,
know,
yeah, in simple terms, look at how hungry you are to win one time. So
sure.
it's like you climbed Mount Everest.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it again,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
have to play the sport and you have the skills so you win again and you're in that position, but you don't have that. I'll just go with hunger, simple type of thing.
That's a big issue. And looking back on my like failed attempts to make the world record official, for
Yeah,
example, I really think, and I thought about this long and hard, and I really think that I was missing Danny. Danny was a big driving force behind me breaking it the first time. He trained me. He put that thought in my head. When you have somebody telling you what you need to do of a status of a Danny
right.
Chu, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and
And
my point to show you how true it is look at how you'll see a boxer, or you'll even see a guy like Brady who went to a psychologist and learned how to have the mindset all the time.
yeah,
Now that little edge that you get with Brady, with coaches, like when there's a boxer, there's a team behind him,
right.
keeping him
Oh,
in shape,
yeah,
fine tuning his
nobody
punches.
in sports is a success on his or her own. It just
Right.
doesn't happen that way.
And it's not an overnight success. You
No.
have to build up to it. Look at the shape that you got in from when you started.
Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that. Look, when I played baseball and football, I never threw a pitch. First couple years I played baseball, then I became a starting pitcher and a star because guess what I did? I practiced 5 times a week pitching.
Right.
And they go, wow, how'd you get so good? There were natural athletes who now I was better than them. And
Yeah.
I go, hard work, baby. And
Yeah.
they're like, what?
Yeah.
And
I
they
mean, look.
challenge me. They go, I can outthrow you all day long. I'd
Yeah.
come in there and my catcher's hand was bleeding with my fastball. So that's how hard I was throwing. And they're like, how did you get that way?
Well,
Practice.
my favorite thing is when people are saying, well, this man or this woman became an overnight success, and there's no such thing. There
Yeah.
just isn't.
That's the
Behind
rarest thing ever. Yes.
there is no such thing. I don't care who you are. You worked at it. You worked at it. Nobody sees the hours you practice or work at your
Right.
craft.
Well,
And
I'll go with rock and roll. Just look at Elvis.
yeah,
Started singing as a kid, performing. Look, he
sure.
had blonde hair. People like black hair. He dyed
Did
his
he have
hair
blonde hair? I
black.
didn't know that.
He was I got all kind of information for you, buddy.
Yeah, I
You
didn't
can
know that.
tap
That's
in
interesting.
anytime.
That's what
This is
happens when
the
you get a talking
Attila
machine.
learning tidbits from the talking machine.
That's right.
He was a blonde haired kid. He was a twin. His other twin
Yeah, I
died.
know he was a twin. That I knew.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he loved his mother, gospel, and everything else. And he was going around singing and performing from a young age as a
yeah,
blonde haired kid.
yeah.
And then he
Oh,
got
he's
to
doing a
be,
lot of church music, right? That kind of stuff.
yeah, all the
Yeah,
gospel things
yeah,
and biblical type things.
yeah,
He was doing that. And look at how he played a guitar. Look at how he shook around there. And he
yeah.
goes, I don't even know how I do it, but I do it. And
Oh, it's just uh, everybody who's on stage performing, you have certain things you do. You just automatically do, whatever it is. Like I had this hip thing that I did where I shook to the left, right, back, and
whoa,
forward. So I would go left, right, back, and thrust. That was just
yeah,
my thing. I didn't practice it. I didn't do it. Just that was the natural
it came
thing.
natural for you.
Yeah, it's like you see what's his name from Guns N' Roses, the Axl Rose. He had
Axl
that
Rose, yeah.
snake thing that he did. That was just his thing. It's you don't really necessarily. I mean, some people might work at it. I don't know. James Brown probably worked at some of the moves he made because he's
Well,
up
he
there
had
dancing
to.
and doing
He had
splits
to.
and
They're
right,
unnatural. They're
right,
unnatural. Come on.
right. But for rock and things like that, dancing isn't necessarily a really big part of
Yeah.
the entertainment, right? So you just do whatever's natural to you, and So yeah, I would say I totally agree with Elvis because the stuff I did, it just became a habit, like you do on
Right.
stage, and it just somehow developed that habit.
Yeah,
Um,
and guess what? You're in tune, no pun intended, with the music that you're
ta-dum.
putting out. It's going
Right,
right through your heart, your
right,
brain,
right.
your soul, and
Yeah.
that's what you do.
And
Eh,
that's sort of something that bothers me about today's sports, especially in football, all
Yeah.
these pre-rehearsed celebrations. I hate it. I have to call me old. I hate it. I'm like,
Hey, I got you beat. I got you beat. I'll be 66 this year, so I got you,
I do.
buddy.
I do.
I
The
don't
funny thing
think
is,
like that. But here, like Icky Woods, if you
I
remember
love
Icky
the Icky
Woods,
Shuffle. That was funny.
how about that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know he didn't practice it because look
Yeah.
in the commercials what he does. He can't do
Right.
it. He got
Right.
too
Right.
big and fat. What the heck happened to Icky?
Uh,
They
well, the
should have
thing is,
got a substitute for Icky.
here's the funny thing is I used to love the celebrations back then. Like when the Cowboys would get on their knees and do the gun shooting thing, or the Redskins, the receivers would
Yeah.
get together and do that group high five, right?
Oh yeah.
That was fun because that sort of happened out of out of the game. It just developed. They were
Well,
like
it was spontaneous.
yeah, right, right. And that's what I mean. It was a natural development.
Right.
But these
But you
like
know what?
today
Well,
these guys practice more their freaking Super Bowl or their end zone dances than they practice plays. It drives me
look at the
crazy.
perfect example of the receiver we just got rid of, Juju Smith.
Oh, we got rid of him?
Yeah,
Nice. I
he's
didn't
no
even know.
longer with us.
Okay. Not a
Yeah.
big loss, honestly.
Yeah, but he went to
No knock
Kansas
on
City.
Juju. I hear he's a nice guy, but not.
Well, he was
He's more
only
worried about
good.
his social media.
That's my point to it. And look
Yeah.
what he would do on the field. Why step on a team's logo
Yeah.
when that's your pride and joy? You're going to get somebody upset. You're
Yep.
pissing them off. Who
Yep.
wants to give somebody an incentive when we have no offensive line and no defensive line? I mean, come on.
Yeah, these
Just a
guys
little
don't really
tip.
think. They don't
Yeah.
think. True story, funny story.
Go ahead.
This guy went for my world record in October, this past October.
Wow.
And yeah, my unofficial world record, right? He went for it.
To me,
And
it'll always be official right here, baby.
well, believe me, it felt official when I did it.
Yes.
I officially was in a lot of pain afterwards and in the hospital. But so
I
anyway, so
remember.
this
I
kid,
remember.
this this 31-year-old kid, he's a Paralympian. He went for my record, and he was talking all kinds of smack on me.
Sure, it happens.
It does, but I just ignored it. Danny was sending me all the stuff that this guy would say. He's like, "Oh, I'm faster than Attila. I'm this and that." And I just kept my mouth shut and I just watched what happened. And I was like, "But are you stronger than Attila?" Because I don't think he understands that there's a huge difference between a 26-mile race, which is a sprint, let's face it, and a 24-hour race
Hundreds of
marathon.
miles.
Yes,
Hundreds of miles.
huge difference. Huge difference. That RPM, because a lot of the kids, like I ride differently than most hand cyclists.
Okay.
Most hand cyclists use RPM. So think of them as Ferraris.
Okay.
You're wee, 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 because their hands are just moving fast.
Right.
I was more like a muscle car. I would keep it in a heavier gear. So I'm just cranking like this, but I'm going as fast as they are with their RPM.
Right.
And I think that's what made the difference. That's why I was able to do, because he felt like, I think he came up with only around 350 or 360 miles.
Tell us your record again, the number of miles.
407.7.
Okay, because I remember being there for the last couple hundred. I was agonizing and agonizing on it. It hurt me personally.
Well, he ended up missing it by, about 40 to 50 miles.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a lot, but it's even more if you put it into time-wise. That would be really, because by that point, you're really only going like 15 miles per hour at best.
Yeah, you're down to that. Right. I saw it. I witnessed.
Yeah, you start off going like 22, 23, and you're finishing off doing like 14, 13 miles an hour.
Yeah, but did he have potholes and rain to worry about?
No, he was in a desert, so he didn't have that. But it wasn't the best condition. He did it at Borrego Springs, which is, I went out, I was out there myself.
That was a rough track from what you told me.
It is a rough track. It is absolutely a rough track. There's no doubt about it. But, I would have thought that he talked all that smack and he came up short. And I never said a word. I never said anything. I didn't say anything to him before or after. I just sat back. I'm not like the Dolphins who take out the champagne and pop the champagne every time somebody fails.
Right.
Uh, you know.
No, I understand. And I want to just share one thing that you told me. And you go, we were just having one of our off the record conversations. I'll never forget it. And you go, I challenge anybody to do what I do, like the great athletes like Steelers.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
challenge any one of them to do what I do. They think they're muscled up, they're strong. Let them go with me. And you told me a couple guys like that had gone with you and they had to quit.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
They
It's
quit.
well,
And
I
you
mean,
told me that years ago. And I was like, wow, this Attila's my hero. And
well, you
that's
know what
why
the
you're
funny
my
thing is.
hero. I had to
You know what
share
the
that little tidbit there.
you know what the funny thing is. We held hand cycle races a few years back, probably about five. I think it might have been before. It might have been like 2015 or 16, whenever it was.
Okay.
We had these. Stephanie Swan's father, Oscar Swan, held hand cycle races. Like they have the bicycle races at the track. This one was for hand cyclists only.
Okay.
And one of the local photographers, he jumped in and he was there just taking pictures, which was really cool. We got some cool photos.
Oh,
And
yeah. That had to
he,
be
he
great.
decided he was going to jump in and do a race with us just because he wanted to see what it was like. Well, this was only a one lap. It was opening one lap sprint. So you're going full for that half mile
Full
an hour. You're
throttle.
going as fast as you can.
Yeah.
He said he got halfway around the track and almost had a heart attack. He was trying to keep up with us,
Wow.
and of course we blew him away. I mean, it was like you or I trying to race with like Jesse Owens and them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
right? You just get
Look at
left
he even
behind.
beat Jesse Owens even beat horses. So
Right?
what the heck?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, he was just like, "Oh my god, this is so hard," and he ended up quitting on a downhill part of it. Not a big downhill, but the track. The one side's a little
Right.
hint, like half a degree downhill. So he didn't even get to the uphill side on the inside. So,
And the heart was
but
going out.
oh yeah, yeah. And this is why I would love to race somebody like Latang.
Yeah.
I think Latang would be the perfect person because we know that he has good cardio. I mean,
Oh,
his cardio is up there with anybody in the world. So this guy puts in like 30 minutes a game, almost 25,
well,
26
look
minutes a
here,
game.
getting back to the game a little bit.
Oh, he played almost an hour last
He
night.
had 46 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
explain. 46 minutes.
Yeah. That's huge. That's
And
massive. You know?
another guy had 37 minutes or something of
Yeah.
Matthews
Well,
or
I mean, when you
something.
play two games in one, you're going to end up with a lot of minutes, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, he normally does like 27 minutes or
You're
so.
right. Right. You know what? Do you think so? Here's a question. Do you think that the Penguins might have played a little possum going into these playoffs? Do you think that maybe they showed us what they can do if they play defensive first, like they did that last game against Boston, and then
Right.
they reverted to just playing that up and down, totally no defense hockey?
Well, here's what I'll share with you. I think Sully's a little bit of a psychologist and plays
Yeah.
psychological
Oh,
warfare
oh, he
because he
absolutely
has
does.
their mantra is we have to play the right way.
Yes.
And they constantly say it like
Yeah.
that was a good defensive game. We're playing the right way.
Yeah.
Look at you guys, 8 guys scored 7 points each.
Yeah.
That was we're playing the right
The
way.
right way. That's
So how
always
can
coming out of his mouth.
everything be the right way?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I take as being a layperson outside of here. They
I
know.
just I just wonder, I wonder because, let's face it, team sports, when you're in sports, you're always trying to play head games with the opponent. That's a
and
fact.
and you know
I've done it.
yourself.
I've done it.
I was just going to say, you're always looking for an edge.
Yeah.
And
Oh
if
yeah.
you find that edge that people get sucked in, that they're okay, the Penguins can't do this or the
Yeah.
Penguins are too slow. What happens when they go full force? They're too fast?
Yeah.
No, they're
Yeah.
faster than the other team,
Yeah.
though. So
Well,
if you know in practice that you're putting in all the cardio, you know what your guys can do. And I know Sully's a great observer
yeah.
of his team. And look at how he molds these players together. And
Yeah.
look at the year that they had without Sid and without Malkin.
Yeah. I mean, between the two of them, they probably missed almost an entire season.
Yeah. How did they play so well? Like, I was a little worried when you play so well at the beginning. I want you to play well at the end. because you go
Honest to
into the
God,
cup.
I thought that in many cases the team played better without them.
They
They
did.
played more like a team.
Well, here was the fear. And when Malkin came back, you
The
notice with
letdown.
his freewheeling style
Yeah.
that all of a sudden they had let 40 shots
Yeah.
consistently.
Yeah.
Before that, before Malkin come back, I heard a stat because I'm a stat man. I
Yes.
listened to that. They had said only 3 times before Malkin came back that they gave up 40 shots.
What, this
And that,
season?
during the whole part of the first half of the season.
Oh, first half of the season. Okay.
Yeah, 3 times when Malkin came back when he did.
Yeah.
Guess what? We were giving up that almost every game
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah.
So it's some of his freewheeling style. But when Malkin turns on the Ritz, look what he can do. But he
Oh
only
yeah.
does it less and less. I'm noticing age has started to catch up to him, plus his injury.
Well, he
And
doesn't have the speed. I mean, didn't he have both knees repaired?
yeah,
Like
well,
so.
you know yourself, when you lose a little bit and you're getting older, guess what? That little edge, look at you, it's a fraction of a second,
Oh sure.
with what you're doing. But a fraction of a second on each time around, that adds up the minutes.
Accumulative.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like Ben
Absolutely.
Franklin said, a penny a day, save that
Right.
penny a day, and look what you'll
Right.
have.
Right. Another thing I wondered about in last night's game is if the Rangers just kind of shot their wad in the first period. They were so hyped. So they were hitting everything that moved. They had all this energy. And I wonder if they just, because of their maybe inexperience, they just exerted it all so early because they almost looked like they ran out of gas by the third period.
They didn't
And
look
then they
like
had to play another game.
they didn't look like they ran out of gas. They did. They
Yeah.
played on heart. So
Yeah.
I give them all the credit in the world. They played on heart because I'll just use this as crude. They shot their wad in the first period.
I'm
And the
watching and I'm like,
start of the second, they still had it, but they got deflated after that. That's what
once the
I saw.
Penguins got that second goal, you could hear it. You could hear it. Like even
Yeah,
when the Pens made it 2-1, you could hear the arena got quiet.
right.
And then the second goal, you could hear a pin drop after that.
Yeah.
Then they kind of celebrated when they got the third, but then the Pens tied it up. And from there on out, that crowd was not the same. In
Well,
overtime,
I'll
I'm
just,
like, we're the Rangers fans.
right. And then I'll share it at the 3:10 minute mark of the third period when they ruled that no goal.
Yeah.
They were done.
Yeah.
Just the
You could
shoulders
see it. You
down.
could see it in them.
The whole mentality of the team was lost.
Yeah. It's almost like they go, oh, here we go. We got to beat the Pens and the refs.
Right.
Even though it was the right call. You
Well,
could
look at
see
their
that that's their mentality.
goaltender. He was standing on his head the whole game,
Oh, he was great.
stopping shots.
He was absolutely great.
Without him, we win the game easily.
Yeah. And those 2 posts that the Penguins also hit.
There's always the dreaded post.
Oh my God. I swear to God, this team hits more posts than any team out there.
And you know how close that is. It's about an inch away from going in.
Not even.
Yeah, half an inch maybe if it hits the inside. I'm talking
We're
about
talking,
the ones that hit the middle.
centimeters
So
and shit. We're going into the metric system. That's how close it is of going in or going out or,
I think they got to make an angle on that so that it'll knock it in.
You know what?
Get rid of the round edge.
I heard Madden actually bring that up years ago, like maybe 10 or 15 years ago. He talked about when they were talking about making all these changes in hockey because they were like, well, do we need to make the goalie pad smaller? Do we need to make the net bigger? And I think in the end, they made the net slightly bigger, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they ended up doing?
That's what I think, yes.
But I remember him saying about, making the goal. So if it hits a post, it's more likely to go in than out. And I thought, that's actually a pretty decent idea.
Well, my thing is you've seen 2x4s. Put something like a 2x4 so when it hits the inside, instead of it being round and it bounces out, it goes right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it was like a straight 2x4, bang, it's going in.
Yeah.
And we're not having this discussion.
Right. So, all right. Well, we talked about going a half an hour, and I think we're an hour and 10 minutes in.
Well, you're with the talking machine. And since the first time I've met and talked to you on a phone, let alone on Facebook, we've never done under an hour.
We have not. That's fact. We usually go like 3-4 hours sometimes.
But we're going to have to shut this down. I hope anybody who watches this enjoys it. We gave you some of our wisdom, our expertise, and especially our great opinions.
And we're going to do this for as long as the Pens are in the playoffs, we'll go over the games afterwards, and you guys are welcome to chime in with your opinions, this and that. It's always welcome.
Yes.
Um, Tell the people about your shows again. And by the way, where can they find your shows, on YouTube, or where are you?
Well, all of my shows are on YouTube. Type in
Okay.
Pittsburgh, you know how to spell Pittsburgh, then Sportsline, Sportsline, and you'll find all of my shows. I have a young man working to give me a Pittsburgh Sportsline page just for my own, because you can
Like
find them on
PittsburghSportsLink.com.
BPTV. Yeah, my public access TV is Bethel Park Community Access, BPTV. So
Okay.
that's where all my shows are. We're getting a new site. And I started a show because I was cooking during COVID to distract people. And I cook a lot of healthy meals. And I was doing it twice a week. My director goes, "Hey, Al, my wife would like your recipes. How long does it take you to cook your fish meals?" I said 20, 25 minutes. He goes, "For me and my two kids, that would be great." So each week I'm doing it. Then he goes, "You're eating fish 7 times a week." I go, "No, you're delusional with Facebook. It's twice a week, one early, one late." And I had other people private messaging me, "Al, are you okay? Because if you eat that much fish, you're not going to be healthy." I go, "There's mercury, there's
Right.
pesticides, there's
Yeah.
poop, there's coloring in them 2 times a week.
Yeah.
That's it." So people were even counting. And I had a couple people, ladies I know, after a month, they go, "You're right, 2 times a week." Long story short, which it is, Dave Cable, the director, goes, "Hey, Al, would you like to do a cooking show?" And he goes, "How's your kitchen?" I go, "Average size, sort of nice size." He goes, "Would you do it at home?" I go, "Let me think about it." April of 2021, I did my first, and I said, "You name the show." And he goes, "The Speedy Gourmet." So
There you
you
go.
can find like 13 Speedy Gourmet shows on YouTube. And then, since I'm a prolific, voracious talker, I was shut down because I was doing shows with Attila at Atria's PNC Park, Duke's Rib House and Grill, numerous places around Pittsburgh, and we got shut down due to COVID. So I lost my part-time job, and I'm not complaining. I'm still alive. And he goes, "Hey, Al, do you ever think about doing just an interview show with anybody, not just sports people?" I go, "Like Larry King?" He goes, "Yeah." Or Johnny Carson. I go, "Yeah, that's me." He goes, "Al, get back to me. Let me know." So about a month before April and March of last year, I go, "Hey, Dave, you know how smart I am and creative? I came up with a name." He goes, "Al, what is it?" I go, "The Talking Machine Show."
There you go.
Brilliant. And I'm a bit sarcastic. I'll
Yes.
just share this. I majored in sarcasm. I minored in ball busting, and I practice daily. All right.
And
So
that's why you're
guess
great
what?
at it.
Yes. And I started in April with doing shows the second and fourth Wednesday of each month at 2 o'clock in our studio. A future guest is going to be Attila. And I do it
How
for
about that?
29 minutes. And I've done 26 shows in the past year. So you can
Nice.
find all of those. I have a special page. So stay listening right now. The special
Well, I tell you
page.
what, I can't wait until you get your website where you just have all this. Like, I have AttilaDomos.com, obviously, where people can go and
Well,
see all the things I do.
here's why I ignored it. I own the Talking Machine website. I own the Pittsburgh Sportsline website.
Mhm, mhm.
But instead of going to a website, which I'd have to maintain and pay to have, I have a link on Facebook that if you type in Pittsburgh Sportsline, you go to Facebook.
Mhm.
So it
Okay.
ties right in, and everything is on my Facebook page, which is unwieldy. So with YouTube, that's why I'm starting my own Pittsburgh Sportsline page. And
Mhm.
I might create separate pages. Or here's what I came up being brilliant: the Talking Machine Show page on Facebook. You can go there and you get 2 for the price of 1.
There you
So
go.
you know 2 times 0, 0. So you get 2
Right.
for the price of 1. I put the Talking Machine Show on there and the Speedy Gourmet. Every time they're up, I post them up there. Thanks for the feedback. And I want to share that I'm on TV, Verizon 32 in the greater Pittsburgh area, in Bethel Park it's 32, and Comcast 7 only with Bethel Park.
Is that with both shows, or is that just the Pittsburgh Sports
That's
Line?
with all my shows.
Oh, with all your
Any
shows. Okay.
BPTV shows on both, but Verizon is the greater Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
So you can see
That's
my
awesome.
shows there. And
Awesome.
here's why I'm saying it. If you get Verizon 32 in the Pittsburgh area, we have 35,000 people in Bethel Park, but we're dealing with a couple million people in our local area.
Mhm.
We have from 1 to 5,000 people watch our shows.
Nice.
And my shows are on 5 to 7, even 9 times a week at different times.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's public access TV, so it doesn't even show when my shows are on. You would have to go to Bethel Park. Yeah, they just pop up. But we have a 7 o'clock to 8 time frame from Tuesday through Saturday, and then 3 or 4 other times, sometimes at midnight, because I had a couple friends go, hey, I'm bored at night, and I saw one of your shows was on 11 o'clock. Can you get it later? So we got midnight shows of Pittsburgh Sports Line.
There you go.
So you can watch these shows. I'm proud of it. I'll just brag a little bit. Usually I don't, but I've been doing it 10 years. I got 700 plus of my Pittsburgh Sports Line shows. Plus we do boxing shows. We've done
and
boxing.
You're how many away from getting 7,000?
Pardon me?
You're how many from getting 7,000?
I'm about 60 people away from 7,000, and I've been working at it since 2013. It's been a struggle. But what happened is we get awards at our studio. You get producer of the month, producer of the year, and I even had a 10-year anniversary because I did my show for 10 years, longer than a lot of people have ever done it. So I got an award for that. Guess how many awards I have in 10 years? You won't eat. Yeah. How about 27?
Nice.
27.
You're like Wendy.
Awards.
You're like Wendy. You're like our friend Wendy Bell with the
I'm prolific. There's no quit in my game, you know. And I'm doing, even though I took a buyout from the Post-Gazette 12 years ago, November 7th, 2010, I started a new career. And my daughter says, you're a celebrity. I go, no, I'm just having fun. And I'm helping promote good people like Attila and others. Yeah. So maybe you can be a future guest, or at least tune in, check out my shows. I have a great best friend. Oh, I know your number. Here, my phone's charged up. I'm dialing right now. I have a co-host that you'll notice. He's a large black man. I don't see color. I don't care about it. His nickname is Smokin' Jim Frazier, one of the greatest, nicest guys in media.
That's my man. I love Jim.
Yeah,
I do.
And we're all friends. I'm honored to be doing a show with Attila, my hero. Thank you so much. Hey, and I look forward to the next time after the next game.
This little thing is just all about having some fun. That's what it's about. You know, we talk a little Penguins, we talk a little life, and you know, if we had cigars and whiskey or whatever, you know, we'd smoke and drink it.
I might take a little red wine at this time.
There you go. Whatever it takes. Interesting stat I saw popped up last night on the NHL Network, I think it was. The first game, because I've never seen a game one go into triple overtime before.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if that's ever happened. And they said it happened 13 times in the NHL's history.
Yeah, I heard that too. I saw that stat.
The team that won it is 12-1 to win the series.
Wow.
So it's in the Penguins' favor now. 12-1.
Well, you're one-upping me on the stat that I had on reviewing goal or interference plays where we had 8 of them and won it. Now we got 9.
Yeah. Well, this was an easy stat to remember because it's so unique. It was so crazy. Like I said, I was literally talking with somebody and I was like, I've never seen a game one go into, you know, double overtime, let alone triple.
Yeah.
You know? And that was crazy because now I'm getting flashbacks of back in the day when we go into quadruple and 5 overtimes and, you know, we're making eggs in the morning, you know, it's like 1:30 in the morning. We're making eggs because, you know, everyone's hungry again.
Right. Hey, your lights were flashing. I don't know what happened to you.
My TV
got dark for a second. Mine has been dark the whole time. I look like just a talking head. I got a hand up here.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So, all right. Well, we've got an hour and 20 minutes. So it's been fun.
I'll hit a period right now, Attila. Thank you so much. This was quite an enjoyable, fun FUN night.
Yes. I thought you were going somewhere else with the FU.
Well, you can do that off air. I
All
just
right,
wanted
so
to tease you a little bit because I'm good at that. So,
right. So here's the thing. I'm supposed to go to the Trump rally on Friday, but the weather's supposed to be crap, so I don't think I'm gonna make it. So we'll do this instead.
okay.
What do you say? About 7-ish or somewhere around there? 7?
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see it. Yeah, this Friday I'm good. Next Friday I got some things to do,
Well,
and
I don't know if the Pens are playing then. I don't know what the
yeah, I'm
schedule
not
is
sure. And
offhand.
even with next Wednesday, I got a couple things going on.
Do you?
So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, we can always do it at other times. It doesn't have to be, say, at 7 o'clock. If you got something in the afternoon or whatever, let me know.
well, they're in the evening. A couple were in the early evening hours. So
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. Like I said, this isn't, we're just doing this for fun after Penguins games.
well,
So
we're giving them the behind the scenes in front of the camera right now.
that's right.
We're debating on what the next plan is, but Friday looks like a good one.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
so. Like I said, if anything happens and the weather changes and it does end up that I go, I'll let you know. But if
All
not,
right.
but right now I'm going to say most likely not because they're calling for rain. And let me tell you something: a wheelchair in mud is hell.
You're in my prayers all the time. I don't have enough extra prayers to the man above to help
There-
you on that. I'm serious.
it's coming. It's coming. Learn about the med beds. It's coming. We'll talk about that the next time, though.
Whoa.
I've got some crazy information. So
Nice. I've
uh,
even heard some crazy stuff with laser technology.
it's all the world's about to change. But
Yes.
let's save that for next for Friday.
Another event.
Exactly. All right, brother. Great talking with you as always.
Thank you so much, brother. It was a fun night. Thank you for thinking of the talking machine.
Oh yeah, and say hello to your cohort, your buddy over there,
Smoking Jim
Smoking
Frazier.
Jim. Yes, he's my man.
I will tell him you gave a shout out. And I'll say
Absolutely.
I'll tell him you have an open invite to
Always,
possibly show up.
always. Would
How
love to
would
have
that
him on
be?
here. Would
All
love to
right.
have him on here. All right.
Yes.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you guys.
Bye bye.
Ending the broadcast.